You need to read
Your
for
hands
it.
are
No,
showing.
no, I
Maybe you can take
What do you need for?
cut your hand.
We need it to kill ourselves.
Okay. I mean, you are reading from it.
I'm not reading, please.
Okay.
Just so you know.
3.
I'll first.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Cre8 by Innovate. My name is Tolu Akintaro.
And my name is Mirabel Ozema Okibu.
So, Innovate is
Innovate is basically a non-profit organization. It's an enriched platform for skill impartation, prototype development, and so on. Here is basically one of the focal points for innovation in Nigeria.
awesome. And here at Cre8 podcast, what we're here to do is actually make it easier for you to understand what she has explained to you. And pretty much what we will be talking about here is innovation and youth culture. So where do they meet? And you would notice that a lot of us innovators and researchers and people in the technology field are looking forward to, be soft like Tony. But unfortunately, that's not fully happened. We have not finally blown, and we're like, when are we ever going to blow? So this is the platform where we would ask ourselves when we will blow and how we can actually make that happen. Anyway, moving on, as we speak to you today, we're actually having the
R for I, research for impact.
awesome. So what R for I?
Research for impact.
So before we go on, Mirabel, what do you actually do at Innovate?
Okay, so I am an architect and a product designer. As an architect, I help them with maybe say renovation work, building of new buildings, maybe say if they want to expand their space. And then as a product designer, basically, it's all about when people come in with different ideas, how to transcribe, to bring them to life, basically, modify, iterate, make it functional for consumers' use, basically.
So in short, you actually just wasted your school fees in architecture and then transitioned to product design.
Not really. I would say, as an architect, I see things in a different view. Of course, product design is made up of different engineers and so on. But as an architect, I see things that others wouldn't see in my perspective, thereby giving myself like that niche. You understand?
Awesome. I work here as the content developer, so most of the written work you'll probably find me on that. One question I've always wanted to find out, I always transitioned from comms, I transitioned from every form of communications, from international development to being an OAP to being a camera person, to be a writer, to being an editor. So I've been everywhere in comms, and then now I'm in tech. And then I always ask myself that, would this tech fund my lifestyle? because they told me that I will blow in tech. So I mean, since you actually transitioned before me, how has that been for you?
Well, tech is what we call the new minefield. It's like landmine, basically. It's like everybody's looking for that gold, whether it's Bitcoin or it's this or it's that. Everybody's looking for that gold. For me, I specialize in tech. I specialize on UI UX. That's user interface.
That's the one that has
design.
the money back.
Basically, users interface and user experience. You can say it has money, but not. We're not like some tech bros, Coming out from architecture and going into like UI UX, it gave me that, like I said, niche. I see architecture, information architecture differently from the way a normal or a UI UX designer would see it. I see it in a different perspective, like I said earlier. So it's even I didn't come out of architecture. I'm still there.
So you're trying to defend why you think you didn't waste your school fees.
I didn't waste my school fees. Doesn't my mother hear you?
because it looks like you have. But then I actually get what you mean by how it actually is a win-win. They always, what's that thing when we say that there's a synergy between like all of them, right? So I think that actually works. Anyway, before we go, and before we forget, like she said, we're actually having the Research for Impact right here. And in the next couple of minutes, we'll have someone actually join us to tell you more about it. But before we go, what is Research for Impact about?
Well, research for impact is when it's basically, we call it the triple helix synergy. It's when academians, inventors, and industry experts come together, research on different products, and come up with like ideas, basically.
Awesome. So we actually have with us today a lot of people from the academia and people from the NNPC join us today. However, our guest later will actually talk more about it. But before we go, it's always good to always tell you a little bit about what we do here. Like we said earlier, let's introduce you to the humans of Innovate through our segment, How We Do It. We'll be back.
Welcome to Ceramic and Pottery Sub-Department at Innovation Startup Hub. Today I want to welcome us to this wonderful department where I'm going to show you how we produce a pen holder. I'm going to show you how we produce this pen holder using the 3D machine. This is the interface and the controls for the 3D machine where the software is prepared, imputed, and then it is sent to the machine for the eventual printing. This is a 3D machine where the work is eventually printed. Now, this is the work in its still wet state. This is the work that's already undergone dryness. This is the work that has already been fired, the first stage of firing, and this is the final finishing of the work. Now, for the two last stages, this is the equipment that we use in turning them into how they are. This is called a kiln. Now, a kiln is where we fire our ceramic works to make them stronger. Now, as you can see, the works are already undergoing firing inside. This is the first stage of firing called the biscuit firing. And then this second kiln, we are glaze firing some of the works also in it. After firing, they come out as shiny as you can see these works displayed here. And this is how we do it.
Like we never left and we're back again. Like we said earlier, we actually have a guest with us today who needs no introduction to us at the hub, but we'll let him introduce himself.
All right, yeah, it's nice to be here. It's good to be between the two of you, doing innovation, doing tech, talking innovation, talking tech. Yes, my name is Deji Ige. I work here with Innovate Hub, basically.
What's the work that you do here?
All right, at the Innovate Hub, I run the turf of communications with the hub. Internal, external, intra, and external communications with the hub.
Awesome. So if everything you need to know about Innovate Hub, he's the guy. But like we said earlier, we actually have the Research for Impact happening as we speak.
Yes.
And it's quite busy at the hub at the moment.
Very.
What is it exactly about? And break it down to someone who's very new to innovation and tech.
All right, so basically, R4I, as we call it, Research for Impact Bootcamp, is basically for individuals who want to research for solution. Now, in Nigeria, the paradigm is shifting from research for publication, which you see a lot of that in the academia. You see a lot of that among Nigerians. Many people research for publication in journals, or researches end up on the shelves of the library. So now the R4I is a paradigm shift that will help people transit from researching basically for publication to researching for solution, for prototypes, for products. This is basically what Research for Impact is all about.
Awesome.
So, and at the moment, we're having individuals sponsored by TET Fund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, and these individuals are lecturers from Polytechnic, which is so much so much shift from what used to be, and we think Tech Fund is in the right direction. Tech Fund is pushing the frontier of R&D in Nigeria. Can we do this in a country like Nigeria that is striving to reach the top in terms of technology advancement, in terms of nation building, economic growth? How best can we do that, if not to go back to the academia? Now, back in the day, solutions used to come from the academia. The industry looked up to the academia for solution. Now, reverse is almost the case now. Solutions come from the industry now. Most of those solutions are even transported to the academia. Now, Tech Fund deemed it necessary that let us go back to those days of glory when researches from the academia translated into products, into prototypes, into solutions for the Nigerian society. Hence, the Research for Impact boot camp, workshop, if you may. Now, Innovate Hub is the brain behind this initiative. Innovate Hub is a technical partner in this collaboration. So basically, this collaboration is between Tech Fund, is the principal.
Right.
Then Innovate Hub, who is
Right.
the implementer of this initiative. So these lecturers are coming from all over the country. They've been selected. They are coming here. Good thing they are here now, and they are in high spirit. What they will do is first think of problems around the Nigerian society, the Nigerian ecosystem. These problems would most definitely fall within the SDG goals: food, water, and the rest. Now, they'll work in groups, pick a problem, find a problem, then prefer a solution. They'll be here for 10 days. Now, within the 10 days, after spotting the problems, the preferred solution, then they translate their solution into prototype. So they are going to go into prototype development. Believe me, this is happening with the help of experts at the Innovate Hub from all fields of endeavor here at the Innovate Hub. So those prototypes now, by day 10 of their work here, those prototypes will be pitched to stakeholders, policymakers, people from the industry, people from the academia as well. And who knows, these prototypes, many of them can go for commercialization. This is the second leg of this. We had one sometime last year for academia from the universities, and that was fantastic. Within the 10 days they spent here, 4 prototypes came out of that.
Wow.
And some of those prototypes have been patented now. Some are even looking for commercialization, looking for financiers to take them from prototype to minimum viable product. And from minimum viable product, you can go for mass production. So that's on Tech Fund's side. So we are glad to have Tech Fund participants here. We are in high spirit. They as well are in high spirit. Now, the other side of it is the NMPC RTI department. RTI is Research, Technology, and Innovation Department. This is the department mandated to find new solutions, new innovations, new inventions for the NMPC Limited. And the NMPC is wearing a new look now. NMPC is transiting into the mainstream of industry play in the Nigerian society. NMPC has become a limited, which is a fantastic thing. So, for that reason, NMPC is looking for new ways of doing things. And how do they start? It's basically by first creating solutions for the oil and gas industry. Now, the RTI deemed it necessary to get their personnel to start going through the processes. They are not just starting here, they've been doing it. To be involved in this process of ideation, from ideation to solution spotting, from there to prototyping, from prototyping to commercialization to patenting. And this is how solutions are arrived at across the world. Now, so NMPC staff will be here for 5 days to go through this process, their own R4I, Research for Impact Boot Camp. And it's fantastic. Now, the juice in this, for me, let me call it the cherry on the cake, basically, is the synergy, which is popularly known as the triple helix synergy among the government, the academia, and the industry, which is exactly what is unfolding at Innovate Hub here.
Yeah.
Now you have Tech Fund spearheading the charge for the government. You have the academia, those lecturers and technologists as well from the Polytechnic. And you have NMPC personnel who are from core industry. So this is how our nation can go to the next level of technology advancement, of nation building. Gradually, when we start producing things from prototypes, we start having different solutions in different areas of our endeavor. And we're quite excited about this. So, in a nutshell, I don't know if that was actually a nutshell. That is our for iPhone.
That was definitely not a nutshell. That was obviously not a nutshell.
All right, so
Like history report. History.
That was like, when you have like English summary, but then the summary is longer than the comprehension.
depended on tools, stones, spears, later cutlass, hoe,
You sound like
dagger.
you actually have Stone Age experience.
Yeah, I was around, kind of. I reincarnated anyway. So basically, from that, we transited into the era of agriculture. Then we needed agricultural tools, hoe, cutlasses, and the rest, rake, to gather, to first plant, to tend, to harvest, to gather, to store, then silos and the rest, or barn and the rest. Then transited to the age of transportation, and transportation was all over the place. Then we needed to jump into the train to start then air transport and the rest. Then technology.
Yeah.
At the advent of technology, we knew our lives would never remain the same. It's either you catch up or you go back to the Stone Age. And unfortunately, the Stone Age is far, far gone. So you can't go back. So you must catch up. Telephone, from the big telephone now to what we have on our palm.
Yeah.
Now, which says technology now defines our existence. Inventions define our existence. Solutions define our existence. Now, I was talking about technology. Let's go to medicine. A whole lot. Vaccines all over the place. Before the disease comes, there's a vaccine to combat. At some point, malaria was the biggest problem the world had. Now malaria is, I have malaria. No problem, I have malaria. Don't worry, it will go. So, meaning some people never rested. They continued to work towards a solution until we found a solution to curing malaria. Same with chickenpox and the rest.
Yeah.
Now, if people relent in searching for new ways of doing things, in searching for solutions to problems that have not even been spotted, then humanity may cease to exist. Hence, the necessity for something like this. Now, let's bring it home to Nigeria. If Nigeria, and I'm not going to say if now, definitely Nigeria is pushing the frontier to be at par with other nations who are at the highest level of technology advancement. Definitely, at the local level, meaning at the Nigerian level, we must do what they call, we must follow what they call international best practices. And these best practices come through things like this. Having boot camps, having collaborations that can bring up prototypes, that can bring up solutions. So whatever solution will come from these will be transported to the regular Nigerian at some point. In terms of, it may make your spending cheaper, right? At some point, you have to travel from here to maybe the neighboring state to go and make telephone call. Now it's cheaper because phone is on your palm. So every solution that will come from here will still impact the lives of the regular Nigerian. outside there. Hence the necessity or the research for impact bootcamp. Thank you.
Mabel, do you have a question?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like he does, like, you know, when someone does detailed briefing. Like
I feel like
just
he
feeling
had his
over-
tendency to be a teacher at some point in his life. He just missed it. He just missed the bus.
Who knows? I may still go back to the classroom. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't like. I was fortunate to be part of the last TED Fund program. The
R5?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the beauty with it is just watching how they come together. You know, different people from different backgrounds. Oh, I studied, or rather, I'm a professor in medicine, or I'm a professor in engineering. All of them coming together to come up with ideas. I think that's the beauty about everything. In fact, I don't think that's the beauty about everything. It's like I did this when I was in school, or rather, I'm teaching others to do this. So I have an idea that can work. Another person is like, see, I know something that can make it better. And it's just beautiful to see. Because you know how sometimes we go back and forth when it comes to ideas and solutions.
Yes.
But seeing everybody work in a team, like, oh yeah, I like this idea, it will work, let's add on it. It's just the innovation behind everything. It's beautiful.
I totally agree with you. I mean, when people come together, a lot can happen. Yeah, I agree.
Great. I also know that you mentioned that, and which is actually true, a lot of people in the academia do a lot of research, and I don't know about you, but I know that my research work in my university does discovery. But I also know that over time, a lot of young people have moved from just thinking innovation to actually participating in their own little way in innovation. But as we speak, R4I is not for that, should we call them thematic areas, for that target audience. So how would this also impact people who are young people who are, shall we call them young innovators in this case, but they are not in the academia or in the industry at any point?
All right. So for young innovators out there, when this is it. Let me put it this way: when the innovation ecosystem gets more robust, everybody, every player, every stakeholder within that system feels the impact. When the system absorbs more energy, more impact, more products, it widens. Then opportunities get wider. The horizon gets pushed forward. Then you continue to push the frontier. So it's more like, yeah, for the other, the young innovators and inventors out there who are not directly part of R4I initiative, the end goal of it is to their benefit, because it helps the innovation ecosystem in Nigeria, of which they are part.
Awesome. So lastly, for those who can't be here with us, how can they get involved?
Basically, to get involved in R4I is through different organizations. Maybe if they are affiliated to some organizations, they can speak to those organizations to get in touch with Innovate Hub. Then we can create programs for them. Right. We can tailor-make those programs to suit the particular people. The one for the academia was tailor-made to suit the academia. The one for the industry, the NMPC, was tailor-made to suit the NMPC.
Right.
But the outcome is all the same: prototypes, innovation, more robust ecosystems. So they can get in touch with their principal organization or with their affiliates and get in touch with us.
Thank you very much, Deji, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is where we'll actually wrap it up. I've learned so much from today's conversation, and we'll be back next week, Monday, to have another conversation on something that you should be back to talk about. But if you also want to know more about the R4I, you should follow us on socials at Innovate Hub NG, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and wherever you can actually find Innovate Hub. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.